Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cap at Home. My name is Miss Allie, and today we are going to be making really cool big mouth folded paper drawings. So this is what it'll look like when it's folded, and then when you open it up, it's a big mouth. So it's like a surprise. So I have a couple examples here. This one is a shark. It's eating some little fish. I think that one's pretty funny. I also have an example here. We have a tree, and then we see more of our woodland creatures. It's pretty cute. We have fox and bird, and we got a tail coming out over here. And so this one folds from the bottom. And I have another example on my board over here. So I have this sort of cake-looking box. But when I pull it up, I have surprise messages. So you see how when you fold it up, you see all these surprises inside. So I have a couple different designs here, and I'm going to show you how to make one of these today. And for the purpose of my project today, I am going to be making a person. But for this project, you can do anything that you want. So again, in my examples, I have a shark, so I have some animals. I have something that looks more like a card or a note. And I also have some like woodland creatures. But you could also do anything like a monster or a unicorn, fish, anything like that. But again, for the purpose of this project today, I'm going to be making a big mouth person. So it'll be kind of like a funny cartoon person. So what we need today is a piece of blank paper. It can be, I'm just using blank printer paper, but whatever you have available is fine. You're also going to need a pencil, an eraser, probably a black marker, and something to decorate your paper with. So either markers, colored pencils, crayons, anything that you have. All right, let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is take our blank paper, and we're going to fold it in half. So we want to make sure we're folding it in half like so. I always run my fingertips across it to make sure I have a really good crease. So this is my paper. Next thing that we're going to do is take the one side, so the side that's open, and we're going to fold it backwards so that that open line matches up with this fold. So it should look, and again, I always press down really good on the folds. So it should look like this. So now we're going to actually flip it over. So this side's folded up, this side is not. We're going to flip it over. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold this side up so it lines up with that fold at the top. Again, I always make sure I have really good crease. So it sort of looks like you just have one rectangle. And if you were to open it up, you would have 4 sections of your paper. So 1, 2, 3, 4 with the folds. So what we actually want to do now is fold it so that, if we fold it, if we have the open part, so you see all 4 folds, we're going to fold it like we were just folding that one part down. So this part, like if you flipped it over, it's just flat. If you're looking at it this way, this top part is folded down. Okay. So, the reason we do this is because this is the front of our card. So, in our example here, when you open it up like this is the surprise part. These 2 rectangles in the middle is the part that you don't see. So, we want to start like this so we get an idea of what we're drawing. So, with this, now you pick what character or thing that you want to draw. Again, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be drawing a person, but you can draw anything that you want. And I'm going to start drawing in marker so it's easy for you to see. But I would always recommend start drawing in pencil, and then you can erase your pencil lines later. But again, so you can see what I'm drawing, I'm going to start with a marker. So what I always do is, so say I'm going to start with the head. I want to make a little mark where the head is going to be on both sides of the paper. So remember, this top fold is going to be folded up. So that's actually this line right here. So we always want to make a mark so when we open up the paper to draw in it, we know where we're drawing. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm making some marks right here. So I know that this is where the side of the face is. So when I open it up, I know that these lines have to connect. So let me draw the head. And again, you can draw anything that you want. I'm kind of doing this funny cartoon character, but if you want to draw an animal, or maybe you want to draw a box so you can write a message in the inside, whatever you want to do is up to you. And again, I'm just kind of drawing the outline of the head. So I'm gonna, again, this is cartoon, so it's gonna look kind of funny. So I made these two lines right on the inside because I know that's where my mouth is. Again, if I open it up, I know that this is my mouth, and I'm gonna have to fill in the. So I'm gonna make a line on top and on bottom so the mouth will look closed when my paper's closed. But when I open it up, these will connect and it'll be like a big open mouth. That's why it's called a big mouth card. So, again, I'm going to just keep drawing my little person. And I'm kind of doing like a funny character. But you can draw anything that you want. Again, I always start with pencil, but so you can see what I'm doing it in marker. And I'm just adding the face details. And the nice thing is when you draw something out like this, then you can go ahead and color it in and really make it a little bit more interesting looking. Now I'm kind of making this funny girl character. I'm adding some pigtails on it right now. So this is what I have so far. So this is my head. So when I open it, I'm going to have to fill in all of this space. So I'll show you that in a minute. I always like to finish the whole front side first, at least drawing out the main part, before I open it up and draw in the middle part. So I'm going to continue drawing this. And since I have a little room at the bottom, I always like to try and fill up the entire card. So whether that's adding a background or making the figure or whatever I'm drawing fill up the whole space, I always try and do that. Kind of made these ridiculously big hands. So this is kind of my silly person before I go ahead and color it in. So again, this is the front part. So this, I would say, is a pretty good idea of it being done before I go in and open the middle part and draw it. So now what I want to do is open this up and I want to fill in this space. So I need to connect the lines to make my head. So again, I already made the bottom and the top part of my head, so I'm just connecting these lines on the side. That's all I'm doing, really making my head finished. And you can use a ruler for this if you want. I just kind of eyeball it. So I have my head, and since this is the top and the bottom part of my mouth, I'm going to go ahead and connect those as well. So again, if you're doing, I'm doing this as like a person, but if you're doing an animal, so let's say my shark example, then it's the same process. So if you were to open this up, so again, I drew my shark, and I have the front part and the top, the front and the bottom of my mouth. So that way when I open it, again, I have to do the same thing. I have to draw the lines of the face or the rest of the shark, and I have to draw the mouth. So it's the same process. It just depends on what character or thing that you choose to draw. So right now, this is what my funny character looks like. And so this space in the middle, so again, this is all that you see from the front. And then when you open it, that's what you see. So I gotta fill in this middle part. So I'm gonna add some things in my mouth. So teeth, tongue, anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some teeth in right now. And I'm gonna kind of make these super big teeth because why not? I'm gonna add a tongue on the bottom. Again, this is kind of like a funny cartoon, so it doesn't actually have to look like anything. So these are my funny mouth, makes me laugh. So when I close it up again, you only really see the front, you only see a little part of the teeth, and that's good. So you see a little bit of the mouth, and when you open it up, big mouth. So the fun thing about doing characters like this is now you can add something going in and out of your mouth if you wanted. For example, in my shark, I have fish coming out, or it looks like he's trying to eat the fish. You can also, if you do an example like this one up here, then you can add some notes. I added some like inspirational notes as if this was a card I was giving to somebody. So for my person, you could make it so there's things flying out of their mouth. So or you could make it so that your character is screaming something. You could add a little speech bubble if you wanted. You could do it so there's like little gnats flying out. That's totally up to you. So I think it'd be kind of funny to have these little, maybe I'll have like a little speech bubble or something. So I might draw that on the side. But again, I'm going to draw it on the inside of this part so that I only see that when I open up the card. So you only see that. And so there's my little bubble. Let's have our little character saying, maybe she's just screaming. And she's just screaming, ah! So that's kind of funny. So when you open it up, looks kind of normal here. Open it up, you have a silly, more cartoon. So for this, I would say that the basic part of my drawing is done. So I'd say I'm now on to the coloring part. So I would want to add some color, whatever, using your, anything that you have available to you, markers, crayons, colored pencils to color in your cartoon. What I do recommend is that you fill in as much of your, as much as your paper as possible. So for example here, there's sort of a background here. We have some things coming out of the tree. This is a really full image, and it looks a lot better when it's full. For my shark here, I have sort of like a scene going on. There's some like, you can tell that this is underwater. We have some little bubbles. So that page is more filled up. And here on the sides, when you open, I have some designs and just like little shapes, and that just sort of adds something. It just kind of makes it feel and look a little bit more finished. So even though you only see this when it's closed, when you open it up, there's these fun little things on the side. So that's what I would recommend to really finish up each project, is to really fill in as much as you want. So you could draw a background on here. You could add a ground. You could add some things going on in the background. It could be as simple as just some designs and shapes. It could also be something specific, like a landscape or something. So again, this is now the time that you just want to color in your little person. And this might take a little while because you want it to look, you know, you want it to look good. So I'm going to spend some time doing this. I'm just going to start it so you get an idea of what I mean. And again, really fill in the background, because that's the more that you spend time on these projects, the cooler they will look. And I always say, it's always a good idea, after you draw everything in pencil first, then you can take your marker and outline it. And that kind of gives it that more cartoon look. And then you can go ahead and take your eraser and erase all your pencil lines. So I'm just coloring it in. And so remember, after you color in the front part, you're going to have to open it up and color that part too. So I'm just using plain printer paper, which is fine. It totally works fine. If you have a different type of paper, thicker paper, you can use that too. It might just be harder to fold. Whatever you have available to you, though, works fine. So let's give her some blue eyes. And maybe she has, let's see, do I have brown here? Maybe she's got some brown, and maybe I'll add a little yellow in there for some highlights. And again, I just have some markers over here. Whoop, dropped that, so that's okay. I'm just filling this in. And again, I chose to do a person today because I had some other characters and animals. You can make whatever you want. And so I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what this might start to look like. So again, I'm starting to draw it in. I have her pigtails and her head. So I'm going to finish coloring all of this in and color in the front part because I really want to make this as full as possible. So I might even add a background or something going on in the middle part. If anything, if you don't want to add a background on this part, adding something back here really just makes it look more finished. So I'm going to go ahead and spend some time finishing this up while you're also drawing yours. And I will post a picture of mine in the comments of this video so you can see what my finished product looks like. And I hope that you also share with me what you made. I'd love to see what character you chose. You can post it in the comments of this video or email us. There's a link in the comments of this video as well. So next thing that we want to do before you're completely done, we always want to make sure we clean up. So since we don't have a lot of cleanup today, we just want to make sure our space looks exactly the way it did before we finish. So make sure all your markers, colored pencils, or crayons are put away. And then you are ready to play with your really cool big mouth character. So thank you for watching this Cap at Home video. Again, my name is Miss Allie, and today we made these big mouth folded drawing cards. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up mine and post what mine looks like. I hope to see yours as well. And make sure to stay tuned for more Cap at Home projects today at 1 and 2 p.m. and Thursday at 12, 1, and 2 p.m. So thanks for watching, everyone.